Member for Dawesville.
Madam Speaker, it is with great pleasure that I make this my inaugural speech to the Legislative Assembly of the 41st Parliament of Western Australia. I would also like to join everyone in congratulating you on your appointment as the first woman Speaker of the Legislative Assembly. Got a bit tired of that, sorry. I would like to acknowledge the Whadjuk Noongar people, the traditional owners on whose country we meet. Always was, always will be. I acknowledge their connection to this country and I pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. I would like to acknowledge the Binjarab Noongar people of my region. I recognise their rights and obligations to care for their land and the ongoing spiritual and cultural relationship with our waterways, and I deeply respect their sacred sites and areas of cultural significance. I speak to you today as the first Labor member for Dawesville.
Yeah.
The Dawesville electorate was created in 1994, and some 27 years later, Labor holds this seat for the first time. I am humbled and determined to be the best representative to the people of Dawesville electorate. My area also encompasses the suburbs of Dudley Park, Erskine, Falcon, Halls Head and Wannonup. First and foremost, I would like to thank Carolyn Smith and the United Workers Union officials and members. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I'm proud to be an Inaugural member. I want to acknowledge all the Labor members who assisted me on my campaign, gave me advice and also the opportunity to represent them. I'd like to acknowledge my husband Steve, who is my champion and my love, and my two sons Alex and Fraser, who work so hard. Steve, Alex and Fraser balance work, study, caring for my mum and dad, and generally just make sure the world kept on spinning. I love you all more than you'll ever know, and I think we've achieved this because of each one of you. To my brother Mark, sister-in-law Tracy and their girls Holly and Sophie, thank you for all your love and support and for being here tonight in the public gallery. And also to Michaela, Fraser's girlfriend, who's also here tonight, thank you for your help and also for getting me the best work bag any new MP would be proud to carry. A second marriage can often be difficult when attempting to blend families. However, I'm one of the lucky ones. And Steve's kids, Wesley and Taylor, welcomed us into the fold, and over the last 10 years we've morphed into the imperfectly perfect family. I would also like to acknowledge Steve's first wife, whose name is also Lisa Munday. She and lives in my electorate. She is Lisa the first and I am Lisa the second. She door knocked every weekend with me and ran a booth on election day. It was great to have her support and encouragement. In my profession as a psychologist, my passion is positive psychology, which is mostly due to Dr. Michelle Quaid's incredible work on human flourishing. I do a lot of work on character strengths, of which there are 24, and these all present themselves differently for each person. During my campaign, I often spoke about these character strengths when I was with my campaign team, and as I record my debt of gratitude to them, I'll describe them in their top strength. Thank you to Dominic Rose, my campaign director, who has the top strength of honesty. Something I feel that some people in this chamber may have been on the receiving end of. Dom called me out of the blue one morning towards the end of June last year and explained that he was the National Political Coordinator for the United Workers Union and wanted to discuss something with me. My first thought was, if my union's ringing me, I've got to be in trouble. I never imagined that he'd be asking me to think about running for the seat of Dawesville. Dom promised to be by my side for the whole journey, and he lived up to that promise time and again, especially when things got tough. Dom's honesty was of great benefit to me. I knew I could call him any time of the day or night and ask any question, and I knew that I'd get a no-holds-barred, honest answer. Dom is a realist. He likes to deal in facts, and when I would continually give him the glass half full picture or explain I was focusing on the positive, he would just smile that faraway smile, and I would often wonder whether he was lamenting on his decision on making the call that day. Zoe was my campaign manager, a complete opposite to Dom. Her strength is one of love. She worked like a Trojan. She was my wingman for the entire journey. I can't begin to add up the number of hours she put in to volunteer for my campaign. The days and weeks of door knocking with me. She checked in every day to see how I was going. Thank you, Zoe, for your love and support. Andy was my field manager. Her top strength is perspective. For a 23-year-old, Andy has an incredible knack of being able to step into other people's shoes and see life from another's perspective. Thank you, Andy, for all your hard work, for helping me get through all those 40-degree days. You have the greatest future ahead of you. And to Gemma, who has the strength of creativity. I can only imagine the hours she spent creating material, working off the out of focus, badly positioned or shadowed iPhone picture that we'd all send through at the last minute for you to work on. To my new awesome team of Vicky Payne, Jessica Smith and Angela Samiotis in my electorate office, I know we will do ourselves proud by creating positive change in our community. I want to thank the many people who offered me their support and guidance during the campaign, to my AMBO colleagues and to all my friends, new and old, who worked tirelessly week in and week out, thank you. To Senator Sue Lyons and Fiona Bennett, who've been my guiding light, and to all my fellow MPs who supported me, especially those in the Uwu family. Can I also give a very big thank you to Tim Picton and Ali Whittaker from the party office for their very professional and amazing campaign. I'm so very grateful. I would also like to congratulate the Coastal Times and the Mandurah Mail newspapers in Mandurah for providing a fair and impartial coverage of the election campaign, and look forward to continuing a great working relationship. Can I also acknowledge my predecessor, Zach Kirkup, and thank him for his commitment to the people of our community for his 4-year tenure. While he didn't make my campaign that easy for me, he always treated me with respect and warmth, and I wish him all the very best with his future career and endeavours. I'm a country girl. I was born and raised in Harvey. My parents, David and Pam Nabs, bought an old 3-bedroom asbestos house in 8th Street, and that's where they stayed for the next 50 years. My father worked as a meat inspector in charge of the local meatworks. My mother spent most of her years with the hardest job of all, keeping myself and my 2 brothers in line. As I remember it, we didn't have a lot of money as a family, and while we never had the trendy clothes, but we never went without either. I've always said to anyone who will listen, I believe Harvey is the centre of the universe. Everyone has either been there, is related to, or knows someone from there. Some examples of this are, I sit with 2 other members of Parliament, the member for Forestfield, Stephen Price, Deputy Speaker, Stephen Price, whose mum Margaret and my mum are best friends, and also the member for Collie Preston, Jodie Hands, who also grew up in Harvey and was at the local high school the same time as my younger brother. The first member for Dawesville, the late Arthur Marshall, who held the seat of Dawesville from its inception of 1996 to 2005, also has ties to Harvey. Mr Marshall and I met decades ago when he was my tennis coach in Harvey, and even though he played at Wimbledon twice, let's just say I don't think I'll be remembered for my tennis prize. Another example of happenstance is that the Mundays have already been in Parliament. Steve's mum, my mother-in-law Jill Munday, worked at Parliament House in the dining room from 1981 to 1988. Politics was never really a conversation we had at our dinner table. However, my brothers Darren and Mark and I grew up in a community-minded family. My parents were in Apex and then Rotary, so we're always collecting stuff, cooking stuff, or dropping off stuff. The Rotary ethos, service above self, rang loud in our home. I was an average student at Harvey Primary School and Harvey High School. My reports often said I talked too much, easily distracted, and in my younger years I often spent a bit of time outside the classroom being asked to think about what I'd had or hadn't done. I just want to take a minute to express to any person, young or old, who happens to be coming by this speech in years to come, if they want to do something in their life, I found the answer. It's not about being smart, and it's not about being talented. It's about being consistent and disciplined, and to be okay with failure. Failure is just life showing you you're at the wrong door, and to step back and seek some advice. Good people who have already succeeded on your path will happily show you the way. I've had 4 different careers over my 50+ years. I was a bank officer in my late teens and early 20s from the R&I Bank, which is now Bank West, where I learned the value of hard work. In my late 20s, I worked as a base room supervisor for Swan Taxis, and so began my first taste of night shift. And it was here that my opportunity to apply to be an ambulance officer happened when I overheard a call centre person talking about it. Making the cut to join the ambulance service was an incredible break, being one of 30 chosen from 1,000 applicants. I never stopped to think whether I was suited to the job. I just saw the opportunity to be making a full-time wage, working 2 days of 10 hours and 2 nights of 14 hours with 4 days off, perfect for a mother with 2 young children. My first 24 weeks of on-road ambulance life was nothing I could ever prepare myself for. When people say to me, you must see some terrible things, they really have no ability to comprehend exactly what we do see. My strength of kindness and hope drove me to keep going. Fast forward 15 years later, I was 45 years old. The job had certainly changed me. I became a lot more aware of the value of life and what was important. My first marriage became a casualty of my job. I was divorced and a single mum to 2 young boys aged 6 and 8 for the best part of 6 years. During this time, my boys were both diagnosed with high-functioning autism, and while being extremely bright educationally, their social interactions, planning and executive formatting was such a struggle. I watched them struggle to make friends and find their place in society. They were and still each other's best friends, and I'll be forever grateful for this deeper than brotherly bond that they share. I realised I was making a difference one day when Fraser said to me, "I actually like being different, Mum. I have superpowers." Our motto is, show me something great a normal person has ever done. Nothing. They have gone on, despite their individual challenges, to graduate from uni with degrees. Steve's family has always had ties to Falcon with the family home, so when we decided to move in together and blend our families, me and the boys shifted to Hall's Head, and then once we were married, we moved into the Renovator's Delight in Falcon. Night shift was starting to take its toll. I was getting older and watching the mental health situation of our young people in the community starting to change. I was accepted at Murdoch University as a mature-age student and studied a Bachelor of Psychology. After doing my honours, I started an internship at a private psychology in Hall's Head, and then I completed my psychology, where I completed my psychology registration. I was all set to start my own positive psychology business called Two Curious Birds with my friend Jess, who was a yoga master, and we were going to combine strength and resilience techniques with movement. But then opportunity knocked again, or rang, and I answered the call from Dom Rose that would set my life on yet another course at the age of 52. The Mandurah region has been well represented and looked after for over 20 years by the member for Mandurah, the Honourable David Templeman. I have a tremendous amount of appreciation for the kindness David shows me every day, and I look forward to working with him as we continue to serve the Mandurah-Dawesville region together. Robin Clark, the member for Murray-Wellington, has also been an integral player in supporting me through my campaign. Thank you so much, Robin, for your guidance and support along the way. The area of Dawesville is home to some remarkable people. Paddy Creevy is an exceptional role model, being awarded the Order of Australia for her social work and service to our region over her life, and for creating and chairing many organisations that offer a voice to those who can't speak for themselves. I would like to take this opportunity to say thank you to Paddy for her kindness and ongoing support, and I'm excited to be working with her into the future. Rhys Williams, the Mayor of Mandurah, also lives in Dawesville. He's done an incredible amount of work over his young life for the Mandurah community. Watching Rhys speak at public functions, I was struck by his warmth and genuineness. I'm looking forward to forging a new relationship with Rhys and the Mandurah City Council as we work together in delivering the Transform Mandurah initiative in what I think is the most beautiful part of Western Australia, the district of Dawesville. The McGowan government has made WA jobs its top priority, and moving forward into the 41st Parliament, it is so uplifting to be part of a government that has continued to invest billions in regional projects such as the Transform Peel initiative that has a long-term vision through to 2050 that encompasses the Peel Food Technology Facility, the Bushfire Centre of Excellence and the Peel Integrated Water Initiative. Our waterway is an extremely important part of our Dawesville community, and the Binjarra, Julba, Peel Harvey Estuary Protection Plan is a 10-year plan that the McGowan government has undertaken in conjunction with local and federal governments, industry and community to effectively manage and highlight the needs of our estuary. I'm deeply proud of the McGowan Labor government's commitment to end privatisation of health services and to bring Peel Health Campus back in-house. As a former frontline paramedic, I know the very real difference this will make in our community, and that public health, not private profit, must be at the centre of our health system. The $152 million upgrades promised will ensure that the hospital is able to serve the needs of the Peel region. Education and early intervention are essential to tackling complex mental health issues, especially amongst our young people. It is exciting to see how our innovative Peel Health Hub's unique model of care, where a collaborative approach of medical, mental health and job support organisation has been so successful, with a client-centred, no wrong door policy. I'm excited to be a voice working with the Peel Development Commission, other stakeholders and all three levels of government to continue to build on this model. It's imperative that the people in our Peel region who need extra support, irrespective of age, ability, gender, culture or religious beliefs, feel included and heard, and joining forces with the members for Mandurah and Murray-Wellington to continue with their hard work to put systems in place and to create change that we need will be incredible. I love the area in which I live. It's a diverse place that offers the best of both worlds, between being so close to a city and all the surface it has to offer and the sleepy country fishing village it used to be. The Dawesville Electorate has fantastic family-friendly beaches, an estuary that offers paddle boarding, boating, fishing, crabbing, and some of the best cafes and restaurants in WA. Thousands of visitors come to enjoy an area that we are fortunate enough to call home. Being able to promote local businesses and create more tourist attractions further south from Mandurah will be something I intend to focus on as well. Nearly 20 years of my life has been as an ambulance paramedic. It has been part of my identity for so long that I struggle to see myself as anything else. My experiences as an ambulance paramedic have made me into the person I am today. I have sat with people in my community during the worst times of their lives. Unfortunately, I see many of my former colleagues in similar situations. And when I say colleagues, I'm referring to my regional brothers and sisters, our 000 call takers in the State Operations Centre, volunteers and patient transport. One of the areas I hope to raise and work through during my time in government is who is supporting and taking care of our first responders. We've had numerous reports into our ambulance service here in WA that highlight the issues and trauma that our first responders face both internally and externally. I've seen firsthand the burnout, fatigue, acute stress disorder, PTSD, depression, poor physical and mental health, and even suicides within our paramedic workforce. Why does this happen? Research shows that ambulance officers are 3 times more likely to be diagnosed with PTSD than any other worker. We have limited opportunity for any downtime, and debriefing is so difficult when there's jobs outstanding in the community. People need us, so we just keep going. Some of the worst affected areas are our country regions. Those officers work 24/7. I work regularly over a number of years as a relief community paramedic in one of the most remote areas of WA in Wyndham. I felt firsthand the stress of realising that just a simple car accident would push my resources to the limit, with being the only single ambulance in a 100-kilometre radius. And as a community paramedic, you don't get to take a break because there's no one to hand the work phone to. As long as I have the honour to serve in this parliament, I pledge to be a voice for my ambulance colleagues and to work with our ministers and departments to make sure we deliver for them and the community they serve. It is made clear, Deputy Speaker, may I ask for an extension?
Yes, extension granted.
Thank you. It is made clear by current evidence that getting the right treatment at the right time is paramount in ensuring the best possible recovery from psychological injury such as PTSD. Yet too often, our first responders are left languishing with debilitating symptoms while they're trying to prove to insurance companies that their current condition is attributed to their work. PTSD can be a result from a cumulative exposure to traumatic events, and it will always be difficult to pinpoint that one specific incident as a direct cause to PTSD, a fact that can be easily and unfairly manipulated under current workers' compensation systems by insurance companies. This needs to change. I'm also so very grateful to Premier Mark McGowan for listening to the long campaign by United Workers Union ambulance members such as myself and committing to introduce a rebuttal presumption that ambulance officers suffering PTSD have developed it in the course of their intensely traumatic work they do every day. I'm confident that this change will reduce the stigma associated with work-related psychological harm and PTSD claims by removing barriers for our first responders seeking assistance and getting them the right treatment. It will protect those that protect us when they are at their most vulnerable. I'm looking forward to closely working with Minister Dawson as Minister for Industrial Relations and Mental Health to get this change done as soon as possible to stop the potential suffering of our ambulance staff. Opportunity, resilience and hope has been the underpinning message of my inaugural speech tonight. Each of these words have had an incredible impact on the reason why I'm standing here today. A quote that sits with me is, "You can't stop the waves, but you can learn how to surf." Dr. Michael Unger, a specialist in the field of resilience research, made the observation, it's all very well to learn how to surf the waves of life and emotions, but not everyone has access to a surfboard, a lifeguard or even a beach. Resilience is about resources. What physical, psychological, social or spiritual resources can we draw on? It is not lost on me how privileged I am to be here today, and the opportunities afforded to me will be paid forward whenever and wherever I can during my time as Member of Parliament. It is my intention to be that external resource, that lifeguard, and to help as many people as possible to surf those waves. I do not come with an ego or a sense of entitlement. For the grace of God, we're all here today, and it comes as a timely reminder that there are many people outside of these walls that are not as fortunate as us. I also recognise that I'm here on the back of the hard work already completed by the Premier Mark McGowan's government and the members and ministers in Cabinet of the 40th Parliament. as we learn to live with managing COVID in this new world, and our young children and adults look towards us for direction on how to act. It could be a timely reminder that as the 41st government, we need to be seen to be being the best we can be, to show a level of kindness and empathy to our opposition who have an incredible task ahead of them. I think if we all ask ourselves at the start of every day, is what I'm about to do or say going to make me a better person, and does it serve the community we're all responsible for? Then that will stand us all in good stead. Thank you.